this is Brad Johnson here, and what we're going to be talking about in this video through conscious matrix communication will relate to the process of unlearning. Now this is one of the biggest topics and discussions that have happened ever since many people go through an awakening process, is that they begin to understand that the reality that they are aware of has just been this combination and culmination of many different thoughts that have all materialized and manifested together in their reality. And what they feel is that there needs to be an extra state of learning to evolve them further. The whole idea relating to perception, if we were to take perception right here and just take a look at it, that in order for that to be extra perception, not even about sensory, but just the whole idea of how we would understand extra perception or expanded perception does not come from a particular glass here. If your water is only up to here, it's not about bringing it up to here to make it feel that you have more understanding, more knowledge to gain a particular state of extra perception. The whole idea is that the glass itself is looking to be emptied. You don't need to worry about trying to fill it up more when it's already very full with belief systems, with mentalities, with feeling that you need to accumulate more in order to understand more. It's going back to that particular understanding that less is more. And so when you're looking at this particular glass, you're seeing that it is indeed empty, and that you're looking to fill it through a degree of what represents yourself to then have it empty again, so that the glass never stays full. You're accumulating what you can, you're drinking it down, and you're letting the water fill your entire being in regards to your own personal state of unlearning. And so really all it takes here is not to feel that the glass is going to stay at the brim and you're never going to touch it. It's all about taking all of that particular knowledge, so to speak, out and drinking it down and letting it pass through you, because the knowledge never needs to stay. It's always going to be passing through the cycle. It's going to be purged out of you. You feel that you have to maintain this knowledge and accumulate more and more and more without the natural state of recycling that knowledge, to purge it, to release it, to allow your body to only take what it needs out of what you consume, out of what you bring into your body. That's the whole process. But if you feel that that's only going to remain and it's only going to be at the brim, and you're never going to drink it, this is what's going to create those beliefs. And many people may ask, relating to conscious matrix communication, Brad, can you teach me how to be a conscious matrix communicator? How can I learn to be a conscious matrix communicator? In order for you to learn, you must unlearn. Because conscious matrix communication is not a process of learning. It is a process of unlearning. It is to create humility within yourself. If this is what you would consider to be the scattering of many of your thoughts, then all you're looking to do is acknowledge all of those thoughts in regards to their presence, into their presence within your reality, and letting it be completely clear as this board. Very similar to as if you were to have a big rectangular block of clay. And if you're attempting to make a sculpture out of this clay, say for example like that, you're not going to keep adding continual clay to the big rectangular block of clay. You need to strip it down so that you can shape it, and then it can then become the very statue. And you continue to mold it and you continue to shape it down until it then becomes the figure of your passion. This is the whole idea in regards to the process of unlearning, is that we assign so much to ourselves. But that's what reality is all about. Something that serves me, something that is of service to others, or something that may be of service to myself, positive or negative. It's rarely the whole idea of looking at something without feeling that you need to assign meaning to it. So, let's say that there's a tragedy that has happened within your family or with a friend. And that what has happened is literally so devastating to you that it literally just brings you into an epic downfall, and you just feel crushed because there is a tragedy. A loved one has passed away. They became very, very sick with illness. They had a cancer, for example, and that they passed away in their sleep. And that this tragedy has created you to literally have a downward spiral. Now, of course, a grievancy period is very common. And of course, it may take some time really to bring yourself back up again. Because you're not really grieving for the person. You're grieving for yourself. Because you feel that loneliness has taken over. And that without that person's presence, you feel like an empty shell. You do not feel complete anymore because that person meant so much to you. And so you just continue to go through this downward spiral of feeling that you're alone and that you've been abandoned, and that why did that person have to leave? Why did they leave me here all by myself? Really, that represents the idea of selfishness. Simply because it wasn't because of you that that person decided to leave. It wasn't because of anybody else that that person decided to leave. This was the accumulation in regards to their own life. That they decided that it was time to return to the non-physical. That it was time to leave this body. That this body was broken down. That it can no longer function in the ways that could serve them any further. And so that particular illness created their departure to leave. But we become so attached to that person. We can become so attached in regards to their body and to what is expressed throughout that body. We're accustomed to their interface. The interface of how they interact with each and every single one of us. The interface of how they compose themselves on a day-to-day basis. But when you're really looking deep inside, when you're looking at their essence of spirit, and you feel that connection on such a wholeness level, that their ethers, all that they are, that represent soul, that represent mind, that represent body, that represent spirit, in all together in accumulation, is the true bond. That is where family truly exists. This is where friendship truly exists. By not looking at the body, you're only looking at an instrument. This right here, what I'm using to communicate with you, is but an interface. It's just something that composes together as a canvas that is showing you these particular examples to function in this reality for you to comprehend of what's being shared. But I, like you, our spirit, our soul, our mind, our heart, our breath, are the universe, are the stars in the sky, are the earth. We are everything. And again, we become so attached to the illusion of this body. And so this is the process of unlearning. Who do you feel is very important to you in your life right now? Do you have some very cherished loved ones who you can't wait to see again? These people, these friends, these families that make you feel so good inside. It wasn't their body that made you feel good. It was their spirit. Their spirit is what creates the expression to allow themselves to communicate with you. Their spirit is simply utilizing this as an interface to communicate with you. Therefore, when this breaks down and it is no longer of any use in regards to their passing, does this disappear as well? Not at all. This is what you are still able to communicate with. Now, many of us find it hard because we have such a challenging time attempting to associate with that which we cannot see, smell, taste, touch, or hear, or feel. We always feel that there has to be something in regards to a physical presence. There has to be something in regards to how I can relate, to how I can communicate with the Spirit. And that's why so many of us are incapable of communicating with this. Because we're so accustomed through a learning process of feeling that we need to see something, we need to hear something, we need to taste, to smell, we need to feel something that is together in this reality in order for it to make sense. It needs to be of the five senses. I need to see it. I need to hear it. I need to touch it. I need to taste it. I need to smell it. And that's how we can say, oh my goodness, there's something here. Now there's something that's real that's happened. So this is all part of an unlearning process, is to realize how you can be accustomed in regards to a relationship of what exists beyond the physical spectrum. Because as many of us know, we realize that this spectrum that we're in really is only a very minute perception. Here's a very thin hair line in regards to how we would consider reality to be. But there's all of this. And so we're unlearning ourselves to feel that something needs to be an interface in regards to what we can interact with through our five senses. This is the process of unlearning. To unlearn all that which you feel restricts you. If this is you right here, you have all of this fog contained around you. And this fog represents many different things. It represents the feel of loss, the feel of loneliness, of feeling guilty, feeling angry, at feeling worthless. All these particular forms that are just surrounding you right now. Now with loss, with loneliness, with guiltiness, with anger, with worthlessness. How did that all accumulate? Because we assign everything to ourselves. We assign that if somebody is doing fantastic in life and that we're seeing that we can't do that, we're feeling that we're worthless. We're feeling angry. We're feeling guilty about something that we haven't been able to latch onto to duplicate that. We're feeling lonely because this person's getting all the attention and we're not. We're feeling at a loss because we feel that we have failed and there's no way of redemption. So this is exactly what we assign to ourselves. Negative, 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 negative. Oh, I can't stand this. Why can't I be successful like that? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Etc., etc., etc. And it's an endless dance relating to feeling sorry for oneself, trashing oneself, feeling so lonely that nobody can possibly understand me. But what if we started to look deeper into these particular belief systems? Because that's all they are. How did all of these come into being? Through assignment. We assigned all these things because that's how we're taught to feel. If we're not able to reach that high plateau of success, there is immense judgment throughout our reality. You've spent 5 or 10 years working minimum wage or maybe getting a little bit of a raise, and you have judgment placed upon you. You have an apartment and you haven't been able to move out for quite some time to get an improvement relating to your shelter arrangement. There's judgment on top of that. You broke up with a girlfriend who other people loved so much, but you did not feel a connection, and people were mad at you with that. There's another judgment. We become pressured in regards to the state of societal programming, and this is what creates assignment, relating to all of these. But why do we give it value? Because we hold other people's perspective in higher regards than our own. And this is where the learning curve intensifies. Everybody has a better opinion than I do. Everybody's perspective makes more sense than what I feel I know. I feel I really just don't know anything. I feel that I'm worthless. I feel that I'm alone. I feel that I just can't do anything anymore. And we're just living out this fog. But the fog is only there because you've assigned it. You've created the assignment relating to all of those particular conditionings brought upon you. Nobody else did that. It wasn't your neighbor. It wasn't your best friend. It wasn't your mom. It wasn't your dad. You've given value in regards to their judgment. This is what has happened. And so, as you feel that all of this has taken place, you feel that there is no more empowerment within yourself because you've given it all away to the idea of others. And so now there can't be any harmony within yourself because you've broken yourself down, feeling that everybody else has greater power than you do. And that this, in its own way, is another aspect of selfishness. When you feel so down on yourself that you don't value your own opinion, that you feel that everybody else around you is better than yourself, you're not being selfless, you're being selfish. Simply because you feel that you're different than everybody else, which is a complete contradiction to the universe. All of mankind, everything that represents humanity together, were created through this example of the spiral, together in equality. That the spiral will continue to grow and to grow and to grow and to grow. That spiral is never going to wiggle out of the way. It's never going to transform into anything else. It's going to continue to flow. So, why do you feel so indifferent to everybody else? Because you have trained yourself to feel that you have no value and that everybody else in front of you are kings, are queens, and that you are merely a peasant. So again, that moves back into the selfishness plateau. So again, it's about unlearning this whole idea. It's about unlearning that you feel that you are worthless. That you feel afraid to speak out, to be successful. That you have this almighty hex upon you and that you are incapable of deciding your own path. You feel that you have been trained to rely on other people's feedback to bringing you where you want to go. So what is it that you can do to unlearn this process? Well, this is something that Adronis has shared in the times past. Reality is by interpretation. What does that mean? What does that mean when I say reality is by interpretation? When there is interpretation in reality, does that make one person stronger than the other based upon their value and their perception of reality? No, it doesn't. So, by looking at that particular phrase, reality is by interpretation. When someone says, "Oh, you really should get a better job. You're really not making enough money. But I'm really happy at my job. I really enjoy it." So, when a person is throwing that particular judgment upon you, Acknowledge it. Acknowledge that that's been said. And you take that perspective and you put it aside. And that's it. You have acknowledged that it's been said. You have released it because you know that it is not coherent relating to how you feel about yourself. So it is acknowledged and then it is released. And if you feel that there is still some animosity there, create the state of forgiveness. This person said that because that's how they feel they were raised. That a lot of money to them is what's important in their reality. But is that what's important to me? Is that what I feel that makes my world go around? That I have to have all of this money? There isn't really that need in regards to what I do. So I allow this person to share their perspective with me. I have acknowledged it, but I realize that it's not coherent with my current state of being. I have released it, and I forgive that person because I'm not taking their particular state of judgment seriously. The 3 key fundamental steps to unlearning. Because you have taken that belief system and you've put it aside. You're not chucking it away like it's a piece of garbage. You value it because reality is by interpretation. Now some people think, oh, this person said the stupidest thing to me today. And what you're doing is, again, you're scrunching up that belief system, you're scrunching up that perception, and you're just chucking it back in their face. You're literally being no better off than what they were doing to you in regards to putting judgment, ridicule in regards to what you're doing. You don't have to scrunch up the paper. You don't have to scrunch up that perception and just chuck it right in their face like it's a mud ball. Again, reality is by interpretation. Many of us in that sense become very, very agitated relating to the ideas of what we consider to be stupidity. So stupidity, how does it range altogether? And I admit there are times as well too, where I felt, oh my God, that was really stupid for that person to ask this. This person just spent the last 10 minutes saying everything here, and this person didn't even click in. What is it with this person? You know, even I felt that at times. But then again, you realize the idea of the 3 key process to unlearning. Acknowledging, releasing, forgiving. That's the whole idea. And don't be so hard on yourself if you feel that you're still adjusting to this particular concept, to this 3 key fundamental. You may feel that there's times where agitation may step in. Like I said, from time to time I may feel that as well. But then I come back to this 3 key fundamental. And I realized, you know what? That was something that was being a little harsh on me. I acknowledged that this person did not quite understand what was being talked about. I've released that particular form of judgment. I no longer form that judgment towards that person. I forgive that person because this person is still learning. He's still going through a learning process. It's something that I needed to do as well too. And so that's the whole process. So you're acknowledging, you're releasing, you're forgiving. And this is how you can sculpt yourself. There's the big rectangular block of clay. And you're sculpting it all out by acknowledging, by releasing, and by forgiving. Because you're understanding that as reality is by interpretation, everybody needs to go at their own pace in regards to what reality is to them. So this is how you can unlearn. This is how you strip away all that which does not serve you. This is when you're looking back into yourself and you're realizing, I feel very judgmental towards people. I feel I judge a lot. I feel I'm too hard on myself relating to my finances. I understand that I'm not making a whole ton of money, but I really enjoy my work. I really enjoy what I'm doing. And I feel I'm really putting myself down by feeling that there's such a demand for finances when I know I'm getting by all right and I have everything I need within my space to continue to do what I love to do. So that's a judgment in regards to finances that I'm working on. I feel I'm a little hard in regards to relationship. that I have such a demand to find a partner. I'm so tired of being single, blah, 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 and that I really want to find this relationship. I really want to find this person. But here's a question for you. How are you going to find a person to love you when you're still having trouble loving yourself? You understand that a relationship is a reflection of who you are. It is a reflection of what you are experiencing within your current state of being. Many people want to find that person of their dreams. Many people want to find that twin flame, that soulmate, that someone that makes them feel so good. But here's a little secret. You will never, ever, 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 ever be able to find a person like that until you start seeing the value that you hold throughout yourself. Everything that represents that twin flame union comes through the love of your spirit, the love of who you are, the knowing of the self. By understanding exactly that you feel complete inwards. It's not about what's external here, because that's just a projection of what's coming from inside. It's about knowing that you are feeling this deep connection relating to spirit, that you feel everything that represents your complement. You know your strengths, you know yourself so well, and it is an internal fulfillment. And through that internal fulfillment, there can always be the opportunity to send out that request. I would really love to have a partner who can represent that complement relating to how well I know myself, as they know how well they know themselves. And the magic ensues, so to speak, that you filter through dimension, that they filter through the dimensional plane of Earth, and that the magic happens, and that you come together. It's nothing to do with, metaphysical mumbo jumbo. It's nothing to do with New Age hoopla. It's just simple physics. That the more that you can accumulate everything that represents self-fulfillment within yourself, you attract someone else who is beginning to understand the divine inner fulfillment of themselves. And that's what creates even flow. That's what creates opportunity. That's what brings forward these two. But understand that relationship is not a necessity. It's not. It's an option. Everybody does have the potential to form a relationship on this planet, of course. But not everybody needs to do that. They feel the inner relationship of themselves. So the question is, do you have to have a twin flame on this planet? Absolutely not. No. It's an option to play with, because many people literally feel that fulfillment so strongly within themselves that the masculine and the feminine are together in harmony through themselves. And therefore there isn't a necessity to creating that relationship through another. It's already there together in themselves. It can also be through family members. It can be a sister who really has a beautiful bond with their sister, with their mother, with their father, etc., etc. It continues to go down the line. It does not always have to be a romantic relationship. It can be, but it's not necessary. You're only playing with energy, and like the sculptor that has the rectangular block, you're deciding how to sculpt this. I'm sculpting this into a beautiful romantic relationship. I'm sculpting this into allowing myself to become empowered and fulfilled through the masculine and feminine energies. So I feel that connection to androgyny. I allow myself to continue to sculpt this out and create what is within myself. Not based on judgment, not in the feeling that something has to be overrated and underrated. Those are all judgments in regards to states. You're not looking in regards to something that feels underrated or something that feels overrated, because all you're doing is you're creating something that's pro and you're creating something that's con. And that's only in regards to an interpretation. And that really needs not a place relating to a state of unlearning. Unlearning has no pros and cons. There is no pros and cons in reality on a generic level, other than what one perceives in that understanding. So you may feel that, relationships are overrated, or, returning back to the non-physical self is overrated, or the ability to move past a state of drama is overrated. Who is it that's saying they're overrated? One particular presence. Look into how that experience makes you feel. that you're returning more to the aspect of spirit because you're feeling that fulfillment. How does it feel to you? It's divine. It's wonderful. It's exciting. That's what matters. It doesn't matter what one other person says. It doesn't matter. Reality is by interpretation. Acknowledge that person's experience. Realize that that is not a cohesion relating to yourself to be released, and that any particular type of judgment in that form is forgiven. Because it is what it is. And that's the whole idea of the state of neutrality. It's not about overrated, it's not about underrated, it's not about black and white, it's not about positive or negative. It's about what is. And that is the accumulation to understanding who you are that's empowered, who you are that has unlearned. You define your polarity to realize that there's no such thing as polarity. They're just cutout points relating to the whole. They're the sum of parts that are now coming together into the whole. So that's the whole understanding in regards to the process of unlearning. And this is how you can really gain strength to becoming a conscious matrix communicator. Because you no longer see reality as black and white, good or evil, positive or negative, underrated or overrated. These are all just colorful little terms, and they're cute. That's it. You know, if someone says you're good, someone says you're evil, someone says this experience is overrated, someone says it's underrated, well, what are those? Those are cute little words. Do they mean anything? Only to the individual, not to the consensus. So that's the whole idea. So just be very, very discerning in regards to feeling that if a teacher wants to come forward and saying that something's over, something's under, something's good, something's evil, there's a pro and a con, take it for what it is. It is what it is. The universe does not define anything. The universe itself is meaningless. That's how it works. It's absolutely meaningless. It's a prop. It's neutrality together, incarnate in physical reality. It is us that gives it this meaning. All we're attempting to do is create transcendence based upon what we feel is wholeness. What makes us whole? Good or bad, black or white, pro or con, etc., etc. That's the nature of unlearning, that everything is what it is, and that allow yourself to experience what you personally feel is important to you, not to somebody else. It's your life. It's your reality. This is your journey. It's not anybody else's. Be true to yourself. Be who you are meant to be. Live your life in the process of unlearning so that you are sculpting yourself. You're no longer this giant rectangular block of clay. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video has been very helpful for you. If you do have any other questions relating to this video or any others on my channel, by all means feel free to communicate with me. Drop me an email, info@areyourselfempowered.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Brad Johnson. May it be well for you. Take care. Namaste. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please remember to check us out on areyourselfempowered.com for conscious matrix communication, private sessions, either by Skype, one-on-one, or through email readings as well too, a new service that has been brought forward. Akashic perspective sessions in regards to knowing more about your life stream, past lives, future lives, helping you to understand more of the facets relating to your whole being. Body regeneration healing sessions, helping to repair organs, helping to repair other aspects of your body, anything physical, anything energetic, as well as enhancements as well too. And of course, digital download courses that you can grab online as well too, all through areyourselfempowered.com. Thank you very much for watching. Looking forward to talking to you very soon. Much love. Namaste.